Told children before he started shooting them in their classrooms, it's time to die. We don't know that because the official dispensers of information controlled by Republican Governor Greg Abbott told us that. They didn't tell us that. We know that because a local television reporter found an eyewitness, an unnamed 9-year-old boy whose parents didn't want him to be identified but allowed him to be interviewed. The boy hid under a table that was covered with a tablecloth. That's why he's alive. That tablecloth blocked the murderer from seeing this 9-year-old boy under the table.
We have a door in the middle, and he opened it, and then he came in and he crouched a little bit, and he said, "It's time to die." When he shot, it was very loud, and it hurt my ear. When I saw the bullets on the floor, it was real.
It's time to die. It was real. The boy was hiding under that table with a friend. He saw his teacher get shot and killed. He saw another classmate get shot and killed by the gunman as the police approached the classroom.
I was telling my friend to not talk because he's gonna hear us. The cop said, "Help if you need help," and then one of the persons in my class said, "Help." The guy overheard, and he came in and shot her. And then the cops barged into that classroom, and the guy shot the cops, and the cops just started shooting.
If that sounds like bad police work to you, that the police, in effect, caused a little girl to be killed because they encouraged the...
Whoa. This taco's kind of salty.
He came in and shot her. Whoa. And then the guy, when I said, "Help if..." I was telling my friend to not talk because he's gonna hear us. The cop said, "Help if you need help," and then the guy, one of the persons in my class said, "Help." The guy overheard, and he came in and shot her. And then the cops barged into that classroom, and the guy shot the cops, and the cops just started shooting.
If that sounds like bad police work to you, that the police, in effect, caused a little girl to be killed because they...
Sounds like bad instruction to me. Sounds like bad instruction to me. You don't, in a situation like that, tell the victims to yell out. What the fuck? So this is what happened? Is this factual? What type of training is that? Dude, in the active shooter situation, told the victims to yell out? That's what happened? That's what happened?
Encourage the children to say help. That is not the only possibly bad police work that happened that day. The police department in Uvalde is located 1.2 miles away from the school, and it took 14 minutes from the 911 call for school. And the police department in Uvalde is located 1.2 miles away from the school, and it took 14 minutes from the 911 call for police to arrive at that school. They could have arrived within 3 minutes, but they didn't. Republican Governor Greg Abbott went to Uvalde, Texas yesterday to have literally the biggest press conference we have ever seen in the aftermath of a school shooting. State police officials were there, local police officials were there, federal law enforcement representatives were there, Lieutenant Governor was there, both of the state's Republican senators were there. They were all there to support the story Governor Abbott wanted to tell. A story.
So what happened? Active shooter here at the school, and them niggas took an extra block. Did they take an extra block or something? How the fuck y'all don't make it? Now, mind you, understand all the patrolling officers are not at the police department. But still, even the vicinity, how it take 14 minutes? Y'all niggas was scared? Was y'all treating this shit like a joke? Maybe it was a prank? You know what I'm saying, man? I'm gonna take a few blocks, man. Or was you just so comfortable? I'm gonna treat this shit like every day. Fuck it, man. This ain't no mass shooter every day. What are the chances that today will be a mass shooter? Obviously, really good.
He wanted to be true, but now we know is not really close to true.
Officers with the Consolidated Independent School District, they approached the gunman and engaged with the gunman at that time. The gunman then entered a back door and went down 2 short hallways and then into a classroom on the left-hand side. The gunman entered into that classroom, and the classroom was connected internally to another classroom. Border Patrol, Consolidated ISD officers, police, sheriffs, and DPS officers converged on that classroom, and a Border Patrol officer killed the gunman.
He let.
I know she did. She put this taco seasoning on there, and then she seasoned the shit again. This shit is salty as hell. That's not how you make tacos, guys. And this chick is half Mexican. Goodness gracious.
Left out that the elapsed time for what he just described there was an hour. He left out that police officers on the scene at the school refused to go after the gunman for an hour. Greg Abbott and the Republican elected officials at that news conference, including the local mayor, needed a simple, clean story of good guys with guns stopping the bad guy with a gun. And they need that because that story is the Republican policy for dealing with school shootings. The Republican policy is, first of all, make sure that America's mass murderers are the best equipped mass murderers in the world. And then second, when one of those well-equipped...
Stop. Wait a minute. Guns are going to be accessible. Fully out or not fully out, whatever you want. It's going to be accessible. People that think guns are not accessible have probably never bought a gun. Like, you can just go pick that shit up. Like anything. Walmart started selling guns again. What the fuck? You can just go get a gun. I don't understand how they think you can just get rid of guns. This idea that we're making the mass shooters as armed as possible, as highly... Dude, there's way more people in America who have more equipment than that. Than your average mass shooter. I have more guns than that. I mean, you only got 2 arms. Physical arms, literally. But, you know, I mean, if the concept is to restrict guns to keep them out of the hands of criminals, stop it. Stop it. It's silly. Stop it.
mass murderers with an AR.
Hold on, man. All this goddamn salt got me sweating, bro. I got it. Hold on. It be the double salted nigga in my vein. That's why I don't even use salt in my shit. She put some Creole seasoning in there with the taco season. You don't use the Creole season with the taco season. It's just salty heat. It's salty heat. Heartburn. Sheesh.
15 shows up at a public school. The good guy with a badge, standing presumably at the front door of the school like a bank guard, will pull out a handgun and immediately shoot and kill the mass murderer who has arrived at the school. That mass murderer is going to arrive with some amount of body armor now, we know that. Everything is wrong with that Republican plan, everything. Republican murderer is going to arrive with some amount of body armor now, we know that. Everything is wrong.
Okay, so let's hear what you're saying.
Will pull out a 15, shows up at a public school.
This is the ideal scenario that he's saying from the Republican side. I am neither side, but let's...
The good guy with a badge, standing presumably at the front door of the school like a bank guard, will pull out a handgun and immediately shoot and kill the mass murderer who has arrived at the school. That mass murderer is going to arrive with some amount of body armor now. We know that. Everything is wrong.
So he's saying that's just not going to work. Ideally speaking, having a guard, it's not going to work. I agree with that. However, I don't agree with disarming citizens. So let's take schools for instance, and I'm gonna branch this theory out a little bit more. But if we can take teachers, people who want to sign up to be teachers, and I know a lot of people who I went to school with who work for the school district. And I'm sure it's like that in every other town that you go to. I myself could go apply and work at the school district. So that's easy to do, and I myself also carry every single day. I am studying, I guess I say studying, I'm at the range all the time, studying to get my carry license, my LTC, because now we don't need just a concealed license or anything. Just get a license to carry in general is what you need now here in Texas, because we can open carry or concealed carry with no permit. But I still want to get my permit just to be on the safer side of things in general, and just for the knowledge and just whatever. I believe, this is my theory, that just like you have a ratio of students to teachers or teachers to students, I mean, you should have maybe not the same ratio, but a ratio of concealed carry teachers to non-carrying teachers. Meaning in every sector of the building, you'll have at least one person with a gun. In every 4 classrooms, just to give you something that, you know, I mean, I don't know exactly what that will look like. Every building is different, every layout is different, every school is different. But, you know, let's say every 4 classrooms over, there's be somebody with a gun. Every 5, 6 classrooms, whatever, somewhere feasible. And yeah, it's if he enters this part of the classroom, this part of the school, yeah, he's only gonna be faced with one person immediately, but they don't have to just face him. There'll be the person from the next liaison will come, the person from the next liaison will come, the next liaison. Next thing you know, he's surrounded with shooters. Body armor or no body armor, we can at least stop the body count that he's gonna rack up if there's more armed people there. I just can't for the life of me understand how you can come to the conclusion that arming more people rather than less people is going to save us. Again, arming less people, the criminals will still get the guns. There's plenty of drugs that are illegal, and people get their hands on them every single day, so what's the fucking point? Not that this is illegal. It's CBD. It's that CBD. Yeah, but
dreaming about a car I can't get. You wonder why I'm all about checks. No stimulus, bitch, I get my own bread. And young black people know how to run shit up. But if we storm the Capitol, they paint the lawn with us. I wish Trump would eat a dick every night for the rest of his life. Or eat the best end of my night. And you a joke, providing no hope, no change. You a old Obama mascot, and when the mascot won a game, you should feel the same way. Ain't everybody woke these days? Why everybody broke these days? Fuck every cracker wrote these ways on that old ass page.
alright, so criminals are gonna get, we know this, you know, that's an old adage, I would say. Criminals are gonna get this, but if we can arm, and not just anybody that has a gun, you can be a teacher. This is, I mean, more of a structural plan. I mean, something like, obviously start with at least a license to carry. That's number one. to be able to like put this on the application. And like I said, we can branch it from teachers. If you work at a grocery store, you're a stocker, you're a cashier. We can make this a regular thing. So that, I mean, there's plenty of military personnel, ex-military personnel who also need jobs as well. But if we want to make this as super efficient as possible, hire for regular jobs like stockers, teachers, gym teachers, whatever, just regular jobs, but pay them a slight incentive, maybe a couple dollars more, because they are a concealed carry employee. Extra couple bucks if you pay your stockers $12 an hour. A concealed carry stocker pays $14 an hour, and this isn't information that's around the store. This is between the employer and the employee. This is not something that should be announced. In fact, you should get written up if word is on the street or word is in the lobby about you with your gun, or you're talking about it, or you've been seen like reaching and your firearm became visible several different times. Like, you should be able to actually get written up for that type of stuff, because you are a different type of employee. You're held to a higher standard. Along with that should come specialized training. We've all worked for those type of jobs where you got your little every few months you got to go do the little test or whatever, watch the little videos and shit like that. For a concealed carry employee, the first 3 weeks you get a video every week. The next 6 weeks there's a video every 2 weeks, and then from there on, or for the next 6 months there's a video every month, and then from there on there's a video every 3 months. Video test, and along with that $2 incentive pay, they should also get I say at least 50 rounds. I want to say 100, but at least 50 rounds every 2 months to take to the range and practice. I try to go to the range twice a month and practice. So $2. Let's just average, just a number. $2 more per employee that conceals carries, plus the classes, plus 50 rounds every 2 months. So it's 300 rounds a year. 50, 150, 300, 600. I mean, that's a lot of rounds. But I mean, it's this 300 to 600 rounds a year for each motherfucker. That might be a lot on the government. But at the same time, it give them a stipend. You know what I'm saying? Give them an extra. You know what I mean? Give them an incentive. If they got if they got the license to carry, you know, like, make that a regular thing. Because when you go into a school, if a mass shooter goes into a school, of course the school is an easy target. He ain't going in there with no type of fear, because I know for a fact that nobody in here has a gun. The only person who does is going to be obvious. If there is a guard in that bitch, he's going to be obvious. I know exactly where to go in to avoid him. If you know for a fact ain't nobody in there can protect themselves from a gun, that's going to be an easy target. Like, think about that logic when you're thinking about taking guns out of everybody's hand. It don't fucking work like that. You can't do that shit. You can't snap your fingers and all the guns just gone. We can't make this shit France and shit. Ain't no over there. You're motherfuckers. The cops ain't got no guns and shit, but it's always been like that. So don't have gun problems like that. See, the thing is, the same motherfuckers who will lobby for anti-gun shit, they still won't lobby against the economic value behind guns. They benefit off of the economic value behind guns. Why they talking about they don't want no more guns? Nigga, them guns are still moving money and still moving products and still, you know what I'm saying? So how the fuck? And then on top of that, people who actually think it's feasible to get guns out of here, bro, 3D guns or 3D printed guns is it's finna be a real thing. Watch the whole video of a dude print a Glock receiver and a Glock slide fit on top of that hoe. All he had to do was make the receiver, just a handle to that bitch. The handle on most guns, 99% of guns, the handle is what got the most handguns anyways. The handle is what's got the serial number on it. That's what you got to get registered to buy. You can buy a slide, you can buy springs, you can buy all the other gun parts with no background check. Did you know this? You can buy all the other parts. I can buy a Glock slide. It doesn't have a serial number on it, so they can ship that to my house. A Glock slide. If I got a 3D printer and I got the spec codes to put it into my shit, I can make a Glock receiver for cheap. I'm talking about, man, that shit, that spool of material, man, that shit so motherfucking cheap. That shit so motherfucking cheap. I can't quote the price, but I'm talking about like enough to make a Glock be far less than $50. I'm gonna say far less than $100, but probably less than $50. Far less than $100 though, for sure. Absolutely. So if you can you buy you a 3D printer for the same price as a gun, if not cheaper sometimes in some cases. Buy you a 3D printer, download the Glock specifications, order all the pieces to a Glock, and you will have a Glock. It's called a ghost gun. The government don't even know about this shit. There's no registry to that hoe. They never registered nothing. Ghost gun. No serial number. You ain't got to scratch it off no nothing. 3D printers finna be in everybody's household like toasters in the next 20 years. You heard me? Them hoes finna be in there like toasters. You finna have a 3D, yo grandkid gonna have 3D printers. Like a toaster. Like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? You getting a 3D printer for wedding gifts and shit. It's finna be that easy to make it. Like when 3D printers come out, like imagine when regular printers came out. Motherfuckers used to go, motherfuckers still go to the post office to print out stamps. So you can print out stamps at the house. You get a stamp printer right here for cheap these days. Hell, toaster, DVD player, everything go down, man. But to think that you can get rid of guns is absolutely asinine. Absolutely silly. You ain't getting rid of no motherfucking guns. And when you make laws to get rid of guns, they just take the guns out of my hand, because I ain't finna break no laws and risk going to jail. Hell no. I ain't trying to, no. I'll pay for my own hots and cots, nigga. You got me fucked up. I ain't doing none of that shit to go no goddamn jail. I think I went to jail, 30 days? Almost 30 days. That's all I needed, man. I'm good. Prison? 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 God bless my brothers in there, man. I know they now change their ways, because that is a corrections facility. You're going to get correct. You're going to get corrected, and I'm correct. I already came correct, nigga. I come correct. I don't say I was born correct, but still, nigga. I was born again correct. Hallelujah. Shit. Concealed carry teachers, concealed carry everyday employees. Why would this be an expense? Because places that have, large gatherings, grocery stores, schools, and stuff like that. Maybe not at your regular office building. You might not have that. You know what I mean? That'll be kind of a waste of money. But shit, I think they can make this shit into a legislation, and then on the back end, a business. Meaning you gotta to open up a business that typically carries more than 300 people in the building at a time, or more than 200 people, whatever the case may be, at a time. You have to have so many, and based off your square footage. Your average customer base that you have in the building at one time, maybe it's 100. Nah, no, I might have like 200 people. It's just be it. So based off your square footage and based off your average amount of customers in the store, you have to have so many concealed carry employees in there at one time to actually be legally open. To actually be legally open, you have to have employed. It's like how you gotta have so many black people at that bitch to be legal before you get your ass shut down or sued. But have so many concealed carry people in there. Mind you, if a mass shooting happened, let's say this was already in place. If the mass shooting at Tops happened and this was already in place, the Tops Buffalo mass shooting, if this was already in place, whoever lost somebody in that shooting can sue Tops if they didn't have enough concealed carry people in the store. Whether those people jump into action or not, that's beyond it. But if they had the personnel there, wouldn't matter in that scenario. Something like that. And like you can really, monetize this if you can be a company who's sanctioned, for gun safety or whatever in some capacity, and you could and you get the okay or the seal from the government to be able to sanction stores to the people who they hire that conceal carry have to go through your training, your company's training. Then they get the seal from, I've worked at a company that verified IDs, identification online. So if you're doing like anything that requires identification, anything that's 18 or 21 and older, and like some of it was prostitution. It was prostitution websites. A lot of shit was overseas, but some of the shit was right here in America. Prostitute websites, which is some of the states is legal. Some of the states they was doing it was not legal, like Texas. Like some people I seen, some people I know was on there. It's a prostitution website. Hallelujah. Oh. But most of the shit was that. But the rest of the shit was like vape websites, tobacco websites where you buy shit online, and I have to verify your ID. I'm literally looking at IDs all day long, and the companies that have those businesses, they can only legally sell things like that if they have a company that can verify, or that is legally sanctioned or whatever to verify people's identification. That's who I work for, that company. So this company has this company hired on record that checks IDs. Same thing you should do with the concealed carry, and you should have so many people working in a vicinity with 100 people or more, or whatever the case may be. But we of course got a little pushback here. Let's see what the pushback is. We got a little pushback here. Most people agree, but my nigga Ian's a different one. Realistically, arming teachers will not help the situation. In fact, recently more teachers have been caught with quiet closet and pedophilia charges. Arming what is quiet closet? arming the already mentally unstable instructors with a firearm would be stupidity. It could cause more harm than good. Okay, so because somebody is a pedophile, they can't protect themselves and everybody around them. What does that have to do? Them two different types of crazy. Them two completely different type of mental diagnosis. Like them two completely different type of mental diagnosis. Matter of fact, I'll provide you this before I go on to my reply. I'll provide you this. I saw. It's a whole nother thing. I saw on the Ring doorbell app. I'll be on there, and anybody can get this, whether you have a Ring doorbell or not. If you don't have a Ring doorbell and you have on your own spot, you're just absolutely fucking silly. And I'm trying to say it politely. It's so cheap. If you don't have a Ring doorbell, like go off Wi-Fi, you can screw it right into your bezel of your door or whatever in your door frame. And if you don't have one of those, you're absolutely silly. But there's an app that comes with it, and it's a neighborhood watch type of app. If it's like imagine Facebook, but for everybody that has a Ring doorbell. It's so that you can, just keep in with everybody. Hey, there's a lost cat around here somewhere, one around this neighborhood, and you can see what neighborhood they're talking about and stuff like that. Or this happened, or people stealing packages, most of the shit you see. But one story I saw was this chick said she was in a store, and this dude was behind her and kept acting like he knew her, like they knew each other, and like just kept like addressed her a couple of times as if they knew each other. And she was like, "Man, I'm sorry, I don't know you," or whatever, blah blah blah. And she kind of trying to go about her way, not engaging them too much, just kind of cold shoulder, and then, "Nah, I don't really know you. I don't know you at all," or whatever. And like the third engagement was like this is all happened in one time, but it was like the back and forth was act like I know you, act like I know you. And then the third time was he actually put his hands on her or something like that. Like I don't think she described it as like a sexual grope, but like I think like going in for a hug or something. That's kind of how I remember it. But she said that she was scared and she walked out of the store and didn't say anything to anybody. Now this happens. I heard this a lot with a chick before. Like they get scared and they freeze up and don't say anything. But for you to just leave your cart, walk off, and not say anything is just weird to me. Because even if there's nobody on your aisle, if there's nobody for 2 hours over, if you exclaim that you need help in the middle of a fucking Sam's Club, somebody finna come see what's up. Why? Because the average person is waiting for that shit every day. Waiting, like, not, I don't mean like in the case like me, like nigga, I wish a nigga would. I mean like just human nature is to save, save life. Like if you see somebody in distress, you're gonna go help them. And I mean this so much so, and I thought about this when I was like, this is what I'm thinking about. So much so because I've seen this to a degree, not the exact situation, but this chick is in help, right? Let's say this chick or is in need, right? This is happening to her, what I just described, and she yells help, and there just so happened to be a serial rapist murderer walking past the aisle as she says help. He's gonna spring into action and help her. He's gonna spring into action and help her, or just to Maybe that's a far-fetched one, but I'm telling you, it's gonna work. Or maybe just an everyday thug, robber, burglar, mugger. He's gonna spring into action. Everybody is gonna take that instant W. In almost any scenario, most people is gonna be that or looking to be that good guy. You know what I mean? Like especially if it's easy, some scumbag is trying some asshole shit like that in public, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump in and somebody's gonna start helping me. You know what I mean? Like almost immediately. I'm start yelling too. Shit, especially if I start losing. Same scenario in the concealed carry situation. More people would want to help than not, but if you can't compare crazies and just say like this person has mental issues so he can't have a gun at all whatsoever. I was thinking about that too. Like, where does the mental issues come in when we talking about like background checks? There's a background check and there's a questionnaire when you buy a fucking gun. You fill the questionnaire out on your own. Have you ever taken medication? Nope. Have you ever been diagnosed? Nope, never been diagnosed. Have you ever? Nope. Convicted? Nope. Fill it out yourself. The background check gonna come up with, the convictions and non-convictions and stuff like this. So you can't lie about that, but everything else, it was right there. On top of the person who's selling you the gun, I mean, it's just like somebody selling you alcohol. If you look drunk, if you look faded, fucked up, I can't sell you this, you know what I'm saying? And that's their responsibility. If a dude come in there talking crazy, obviously you don't sell him no firearm, like talking crazy, like I'm finna do such and such with the pistol. You ain't, so I mean, there's a responsibility there, but most people who fuck with guns and love guns and sell guns we don't want anybody misrepresenting us. So I'm pretty sure that there's no bottleneck there. I'm pretty sure there's no bottleneck there. It's, as far as legally buying guns in stores, I'm sure those guys are all tight and strict. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Elite Guns. But, you can still go to gun shows and pay cash right there and walk off. I don't know if there's an exchanging of, I don't know. I've never bought one in the gun show, so I don't know if you would, like, exchange paperwork. I'm sure they give you some paperwork on that bitch, but I don't think you have to go get it registered. You don't have to go get it registered with the state. You don't. You just, you know what I'm saying? You just have that bitch. If you want to, you can go get that hoe registered with the state, but you ain't got to do none of that shit. So I just think there's two different fucking things if you're talking about mentally unstable. And then what is mentally unstable? Okay, so somebody else presents it, okay? It doesn't show up on your background check that you spent such and such time in a mental institution. Then I was like, because earlier we was talking about that those type of things should pop up on your background check, and they should to an extent. But like, I questioned it again, and I was like, should that pop up on your background check? But didn't you, in the point of a mental institution, to help you? Isn't it therapy? Aren't you supposed to be better after that? So at what point does it? So like, what is it? What diagnosis is it that you have to infringe upon your right to have a gun? Because that's not necessarily fair. If you spent 2 weeks in a psych ward or mental, whatever the case may be, now you can't have a gun anymore. That can get very hairy too, especially with the way mental health is opening up these days. Everybody, I don't want to say using it as an excuse, but everybody, mental health. So, I mean, that's one, nobody have a gun eventually. not like these athletes need to have a gun anyway. These are main fuck motherfuckers who using that excuse mental health, and shit like that. Ain't like they need to have a gun. They can control their whole situation by bodyguards if they want to. But that's a can of worms as well. Laws, what we got to understand is laws, we got our Constitution, and we got our miniature Constitution, which is certain laws in certain states. None of those laws can impede the Constitution. So you got to make something, it has to be something very tangible that you can say, this dude is not mentally fit to have a gun, and frame it in such a way that it can impede on his 2A. It's difficult. It's difficult. That's why a tax stamp's still $200. And I ain't gonna go into all of that, but if they could, they would change a tax stamp to like $1,000. Fucking $800, something like that. But that's not so easy to change because it's kind of intertwined with the Constitution. But I don't think I think it's very easy to sound smart. It's very easy to sound smart when you're telling me what's not gonna work, and we're talking about a problem that's almost impossible to solve. You know what I'm saying? You can't legislate hate. We can't get rid of hate. Matter of fact, the second best thing that'll help, like I said, in mass crowdings, this concealed employer theory, whatever we want to call it, the regularly everyday concealed carry employer. But sounds, it's very easy to sound smart when you tell me what won't work. We all know what won't work. I can give you a fucking detailed synopsis on what won't work. That's easy. Like I said, how do you know it's gonna harm and not help? Like I said, we can at least stop the body count. I even mentioned the ratio so that every part of the building will have at least one armed person. Obviously, training and discretion comes with that. I can tell you exactly how, bruh. In fact, being a concealed carry employee, that's what we call it, concealed carry employee. That's CCE. I get paid $2 more because I'm a CCE. Yeah. I do my training. I keep up with my training. I keep ammunition. I stay training, In fact, being a CCE should be a regular thing. A school is an easy target because no one is armed. It's a perfect example / metaphor for an anti-gun United States of America. Disarm everyone and they're easy targets. The guns will always be here. The same politicians who promote anti-gun laws benefit from the gun revenue. So I do think that's look at the Tops grocery store or this recent school in Uvalde as America. Let's look at the school of the grocery store like the law-abiding citizens of America. Everybody outside of it are not law-abiding citizens. Inside of here, inside the school, we're making all of these laws. Everybody's going to abide by them. So now nobody inside the school, nobody inside the store, this is America, has a gun. So the person can just come in and just wreck shop like he does. You know what I mean? That's what's going to happen if you take all of the guns away from everybody who will listen to the laws. Everybody who will listen to legislation. Then nobody will be able to protect themselves, because I guarantee you there will be a black market filled with guns. Filled with guns. It is inevitable. We are literally wasting time sitting here talking about getting rid of the guns or background checks. There is a background check. There is a background check. What are you gonna do? Like, somebody gets checked into the psych ward, now you have to come get all of the guns that they have on registry. What about the guns that their grandpa gave them that they don't have registered? What do you can't come into everybody's house and take, again, you're impeding on the 2A. How are you gonna do that and make it make sense? You can't. You can't. You're literally wasting. They are fucking blowing smoke up all y'all ass when they sit there talking about whatever it is they finna do about taking the guns away. They blowing smoke up everybody's ass, bro. Like, they blowing smoke, bro, because there's nothing they're gonna do about it. There's nothing. Anyway, man, hit the like button, man. Like and subscribe. Music TV, Music Sean. Get in the comments. Let me know how you feel about it. I'm here. I will respond. We can have a whole nother conversation about it. Put your comments.